Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is the horoscope for Scorpio. If Scorpio is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, let's get started. And so we have the Knight of Discs tonight, Scorpio, and I have this piece of tea leaf just flying around here. All right, let's see what these tea leaves have to say. And so if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. If you'd like to hit the like button or leave a comment, it really does help the channel so much. Okay. It's been such a weird weather day here today. I'm just feeling a little off. It's been rainy and thunderstorms, but also like over 90 degrees. So it's super hot, super humid, and feels like tornado weather. If you live in any of the states in the United States where we have tornadoes, you know that feeling in the air. It's just like a electric, heavy and electric kind of feeling. And it kind of keeps you a bit in an anxious mode. All right, let's see. So we have and I'm looking at these up here. It looks like we have a T, an A, and then down here we have an H. Okay, so we have T, A, and H as letters that are really standing out. Now we have a person who is kind of, I almost imagine making an offering. Here's the person here. You can see the head. They're standing. It looks like at the top of maybe a mountain or a hill. They're holding up, and it looks like, I'm going to say it looks like a star right here. Okay. We also have above it, which is the H, but when we turn it this way, it looks like a deer or an antelope or something like this. So the deer, a very sacred sign of having kind of a very spiritual moment, a vision, kind of a spirit guide, maybe showing up, showing themselves to you, having this kind of really intense spiritual revelation. Okay, so I do feel like there's been a moment here recently, or it will be coming in the near future, right? Where, excuse me, it is like an unmistakable visitation or kind of your eye opening, right? The third eye being squeegeed off and really having just this clarity. I see what is happening. I look around me and where maybe I didn't notice before. Maybe I was too busy. I was on autopilot. I was disinterested. I just wasn't kind of plugged in, right, to my environment. Just kind of floating through my days. Well, this is a moment where it's like very grabs you by the collar, right? Looks at you right in the eyes, and you can't ignore it. You cannot ignore these type of moments. And so I feel that there is really this it's not a wake-up call. It's a greeting, right? It's a notice me. I'm here. I've been here. But it's time for you to see me now. And so I feel like this is, and with the star, we have the star beneath the sacred moment, right? The star is our dreams, our goals, okay? If you can imagine standing out there late at night, looking up the sky, looking at the stars, finding a star to make your wish on. Finding a star that stands out more than any of the others. And, that feeling, it's a existential, it is a divine, godly kind of emanation that happens there, right? We think, oh, we're just a small, little, tiny part of this greater whole. We are interconnected to all things. We are, the observer. We are the creator. We are, the participant and all the many archetypes. And in these moments of awareness, right, this is when we have our heart's mind, spirit open, and we begin to maybe dream dreams that felt once forbidden, or we were too afraid to dream or hope for or admit to ourselves that we wanted. And so I feel like in this moment in your life, there is this real urge towards the spiritual path, okay? The interior work, finding a greater meaning. Now we have that night of discs, okay? So we know that the discs have to do with the earthly element. So this is very much about our work, our home, how we lead our lives in the mundane, in the Malkuthian kingdom, right? This is our waking life. So I feel that you really have quite a understanding and skill within your mundane, okay? There's not a lot of issue there, but when it comes to maybe your relationship with spirit, at least recently, I'm trying to get this tea because it is going to continue to move things around. What it has to do with your relationship with spirit, and that place within you that's always waiting for you, that's always there. It's always accessible, but maybe you haven't been going, right? You haven't been in your prayers, or maybe you have been neglecting your meditation, your breath work, your postures, your poses, and all of these things, right? Your magical work, your altars, your creativity. You've been in the physical. You've been doing, maybe work around the house. Your family is busy. You're thinking about your career, how to make more money, put money away, build something with the money that you're making, all of this. And then the day comes where you wake up and this is the day I'm going to have this revelation. I am going to have to start turning into myself, because there's something waiting for me. And I feel like this is really the energy of the now for you. Now, this doesn't mean you abandon the work that you're doing, in the physical world. But I do think that you begin to incorporate more of these spiritual techniques, we'll call them. Things that maybe you've done before, or maybe you've really, been interested in considering them. That is, there's all kinds of stuff. Going to some kind of seminar or retreat, maybe doing like a sensory deprivation tank, or going to kind of a primal screaming healing session, sound mandalas. And, you know, I'm thinking of these kind of more specific things, but so many things to try. And that's what's so beautiful at life, or about life, is that there is this variety. There are so many avenues to kind of go down. Now, we have a rabbit here, okay? Reminds me of a jackrabbit. This is a sign of abundance, of fertility, of inspiration, of spirit, of fight, right? Having a bit of fire in the heart, right? Passion, courage. And if you could imagine, like, have you ever seen videos of two jackrabbits arguing, having their little battle? They stand up on their hind legs and they kind of smack each other with their with their front paws. And yeah, I feel some sassiness. Okay, I know that you have that sharp tongue, the sharp mind, very clever, intelligent and funny and charming and beautiful and all of the things. And so I look at this and I feel there is a confidence, right? Yeah, and that doesn't seem foreign to a Scorpio, to have some confidence. But I feel like this is something where you do well in the world, right? And you're confident in that aspect, definitely. But there are times, I think, where it's like, and I'm not saying this is true. I'm not saying that this is accurate, but it could be a perception that you might have about yourself, is that you live a life that maybe is a little bit on the surface, right? I don't want to say superficial, because it's not that, but there is a desire for something more, for something deeper, for something that goes beyond, you know, what we just kind of perceive, right? And so yeah, at this time where you are shifting inwards. And also we have a person standing here holding a rose. Now the rose represents the mystery, okay? This rose is not open, at least not fully. So the mystery is still intact. When we have a rose that is spread open, this is the revealing. This is when we have received that kind of spiritual download. When we have done the work, we've become initiated, right? We've taken the knowledge of the thing and transmuted it into wisdom. We have a functional understanding, okay? But this is the beginning of that path. This is like realizing, you know, I don't know. I kind of think of this in terms sometimes of like, well, somebody who's gone along most of their life, right? And they just take things as they're told. You know, they watch the news and they think, oh, okay, well, this is what's happening in the world. You know, whatever somebody, their neighbor tells them, you know, that, oh, okay, well, that must be the right information. You know, just taking things at face value, okay? And then one day, they see that, well, I don't know, there's some underlying truth, or maybe mini truths, right? There is a rise of a feeling of maybe some conspiracy, maybe that there is something beneath all of this, that this is usually, somewhat plausible, but it is also maybe just a veneer. Maybe there's some deeper meaning or understanding. And as this kind of arises, and maybe the dogma or their certainty starts to waver and crack, and you know, you start to realize like, okay, well now everything that I thought I knew about the world is maybe not as fixed as I might have believed. And so now it is, you're setting out on a journey of rediscovery, you know? And so it is. Sometimes, you know, we become very aware of the mysteries in our lives. And that can be startling. That can be, for some people, kind of destabilizing, to be honest, right? It can, and you see this a lot in people who are coming to an awareness. They're waking up. They're becoming initiated. A fear and an anger. A sense of everything is at odds. You know, you have to pick a certain way. You got to pick a team. You know, there's not as much nuance to things, which, you know, this, I think as you see people get further into their understandings of the divine, of esoteria, of the occult, of religion, there's less of that fracturing, there's less of the division, because you begin to realize that these things, they flow through all things. And ultimately, you know, there are different flavors, right? That's what I like to think of. Different flavors for different people. But ultimately, the high understandings of religion, of esoteria, the occult, it all comes from a similar source. Okay. And as I like to say on here, there are many, you know, this is kind of, I have modified a quote. I can never remember who said it, but there's many paths to God or the divine, right? As there are beings on earth or / in the universe, right? Intelligences, consciousness in the universe. So that means there are infinite ways to the divine. It is individual to each of us, and yet we are all woven together in this greater connectivity. And so I look at this and I feel like, yeah, it is, there's an awareness, and a coming to, a wanting, a thirst, a hunger, a need. It cannot be met by anything that is earthly. It cannot be met by anything that we can hold in our hands. This is something that is beyond. This is the process of lifting the veil, the process of tending to the flower, to the rose bush, to allowing that mystery to unfurl right before your eyes, okay? And this is a beautiful time for you, Scorpio. I think it's important that sometimes you get out of the mundane, that you allow yourself to go traveling into yourself and into your passions, your interests, your devotions, the things that make you feel alive, that make you feel something deeper and grander, returning to, going to church, temple, mosque. If you are somebody who's maybe in like a social grade system, you're a practitioner of some kind, you're in the initiation process, getting back into that work where maybe you have been focused on other things, or maybe this is the beginning for you. Maybe you don't have any concept of the many different institutes and established systems and and so on. But this is something that you are learning about. And it's opening up a whole new reality to you. Okay. Now, let's go ahead. We have a large E right here. Okay. We also have a T. Maybe it's ET. Maybe there are some aliens in the mix here. But I do feel like it's a large E, but also the letter T. They might be part of the same thing. Maybe not. I don't know. I don't know. They're just here. That I do know. Now I feel like we have a sister. It feels like a sister. Maybe a cousin or a good friend, but somebody that feels like a sister. We have the butterfly. We have, it looks like, now it feels to me like some kind of seabird. What was that? Oh, my watch got too close to my phone. I guess it started to parrot or something. Let's see. So some kind of seabird. And I'm trying to think, what are these birds? I can't think of what it's called. They live on the cliffs. It's not a seagull though. But we'll just go ahead and say this is a bird that is a water bird, right? So, and we have an anchor. So we do have this kind of maritime energy here. So I wonder if you are near the ocean, if you're going to the ocean, did you grow up near the ocean? Is there a longing to go to the water? But there is a sense of this really being involved with, like I said, a sister of some kind. And I feel like it's almost kind of like you've been so close. I almost wonder if you've taken care of them. If like this is your younger sister, if this is a friend that you have been friends with for a long time, but they've always had like some amount of trouble, you know, and you're kind of the one that helps them kind of, you know, balance them out, bring them back down to earth. And it almost feels like they feel guilty for your always being there for them. Like they worry that you think of them as an anchor, like something that's keeping you held back. But I feel like the way that you experience this relationship is that your life wouldn't be the same without them. You have cherished even the hardest things that you've been through with them. That you just, there's an unconditional love. And I feel like this is something that needs to be said to them. Because I don't know that you talk about it a lot. I think that, you know, you tell each other you love each other and stuff, but I think that they don't really know that, I think it's almost like they worry that you resent them. And you don't. I don't think that you do at all. So I think it's kind of like there needs to be a clear communication. Like, I love you and I'm not mad that I've had to do all these things, you know, to kind of help you out. In fact, it has brought a lot of love and joy and ease to my life because I know that we are here for each other. Not only that, it's not me always saving you, right? You do a lot for me as well. And I want you to know this. I want you to know that I do not feel any type of way, like negatively, about our relationship, the dynamic that we have. And I feel like this is an important thing to say to them because I think that they have this thing where it's like it's a feedback loop or whatever it's called, where they just continually feel like you know, that they're weighing you down. Okay. Now, with the bird up there, I feel like this is a very kind of regal, beautiful, beautiful energy. Also, the ability to be among a lot of people, but also be very much an individual. If you think about the birds that live on the cliffs near the ocean, they have huge colonies. And there's just tons of them, right? And they protect one another through their numbers, right? Even if there are other predator animals around, they're usually fairly safe because there's so many of them. So I feel like there's this sense of really getting along in the greater collective within your community, but you are somebody who is very individual. I think that you're very much inside yourself, even if you appear to be quite extroverted. And it's like a picture, right? If you took a huge picture, a group picture, like, you know, like at work, right? Where they make you like stand in a huge group and there's like 100 people and they have a, you know, they're on top of the roof and they're going to take a picture of like everybody from above so you can get everybody in there. And there's always like one or two people in the picture that just, your eyes go to them. It just stands out for one reason or another. You are that energy, right? You are that like beautiful kind of like an apparition, right? Just something divine. There is a quality about you that seems ethereal, right? Ethereal. I think that's how you say it. And I feel like it is. You excel within the collective, but you also are so much yourself. You stand out. It's just, people are drawn to you. They're just drawn to you. And I feel like that's that energy. It's showing me. It's like, yeah, this is like a very magical being. Okay. So let's go ahead. We're going to use these new cards I got. They're called the Self-Care Affirmation cards from Purple Canyon. I actually bought like 3 decks of them, different ones. And my husband immediately took one of them. He was like, oh, I really like these ones. They're the empowerment ones I think he got. So I'm using the Self-Care deck. And I'm going to go ahead and just kind of flip through here. We'll stop where it feels right. Oh, okay, there we go. It says, grass in the wind. I adapt to life like a blade of grass blown by the wind and held firm by its roots. I change continuously while my core remains steadfast. I am adaptable. Yes, I love it. I am adaptable. I love this card because, and actually it's funny because I brought it up in a reading yesterday. The grass, the wind blowing through the grass is a God moment for me. And I live on the plains, right? I'm out here on the prairie in the upper Midwest of America. And so there's a lot of open fields and grass and kind of like these rolling landscapes. And when I can see, like this time of year, it's July right now. So the grass is really long. It hasn't yet started to turn over. It's still kind of green and beautiful and lush. And when the winds blow through it, it's like an ocean. You can see it rolling like a wave through the wind. And the grass folds over, and when it hits each other, it makes this... It's such a beautiful sound. And when I am within that, when I see it, it's like seeing God. I don't know how to explain it. It is transformative. It takes me out of anything that I've been thinking about. This is why when we talk about cleansing on this channel, you know, things like smudging, cleaning the house, reorganizing, I like to always say, open your windows, get out the stagnant air. One of the other things when we are cleansing ourselves, when we are maybe in like a heightened emotional place, we're feeling angry, we're feeling upset, crying, sobbing, screaming, you know, just absolutely overtaken by whatever emotion it is. If you have the ability to go out into the wind, if it happens to be a windy day or a breezy day, going out there and letting the wind just absolutely blow through you. It will take away all of that anxiety, that anger, that building thing that, you know, it just overtakes your thinking, right? You go and stand in the wind, you cannot help but let go of it all. It's like it comes through you and it just pulls everything out of you, you know, that is troubling you. And so that's one of my favorite cleansing techniques, is being out in the wind. So anyway, Scorpio, I'm going to stop going on and on. I know this has been like a very meandering and rambling reading. But hey, you know what? I'm recording this on a Saturday, so this is very Saturday vibes for me. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you I love you. And I thank you so much for spending this time with me. It is always such an honor. If you would be so kind as to like the video, it helps the channel. If you haven't subscribed, think about doing that. It's free to subscribe. Also, if you'd like to leave a comment, please do. I would love to hear from you, especially if you're new to the channel. Definitely shout it out. Let me know that you are visiting, that you are subscribing, that you are gonna stay forever and we're gonna be best friends. I hope so, right? So anyway, Scorpio, I love you, I love you, I love you. Take care of yourself. We'll talk in a few days. Good night.